Hello, my friend. I am so excited to dive into this week's podcast episode for you on this week's astrology. Oh my goodness. This is a week so many astrologers have been waiting for all year. In this week's episode, I'll be diving deep into how Jupiter in Cancer will affect you. I will also be going through the major transits of this week and what to expect. I will then be sharing what happened to me personally during the last time Jupiter was in Cancer and how this skyrocketed my career. I will then end off this podcast episode with a tarot reading of what energy to embrace, what energy to let go of. So let's just dive right into it. Now, we do have a full moon in Sagittarius this week. So if you missed that podcast episode that went really in depth on what to expect from this full moon in Sagittarius, go check out that episode now. It's going to really help you understand what to expect from this energy. Now, starting off with June 9th, we have Mercury in Cancer square to Saturn in Aries. This is a bit uncomfortable. You could have some tricky conversations with people this day. It could feel as though you have to set a boundary with someone. You could feel as though it's a bit trickier for you to share your voice with someone that is a bit more, I would say, intense. This could be a mentor, a coach, a boss, a parent. You could just have a little bit of tension this day with your conversations. So keep this in mind that people are going to be a little bit more on edge in terms of this. I do see this energy kind of focusing more so on your home and living environment, and also what feels like safety to you. So you could be having some difficult conversations around this. What's also happening the same day is Mercury is also in a square to Neptune in Aries. This is going to make things more confusing. This could feel like there's something that's not being said, or there's someone that is not being very clear in terms of their communication. They're going around certain things. Maybe they're not giving you all the information. This is important to consider, so I wouldn't make any harsh decisions this day. If you're able to navigate to put something to another day, that would be great. Keep this in mind. However, this is also going to help you really get clear on how can you take ownership around your communication, around the thoughts you're thinking. This could give you a sign as to maybe you need a perspective shift. Maybe you need to be more kind and understanding in your communication with someone. These things can come up, and this can be really helpful just to consider. Now, the 9th is a really interesting day. We also have Venus in Taurus square Pluto in Aquarius. And this can make us a little bit more obsessed with relationships, with money. You could feel like it's a bit harder to detach from a situation. You could feel like you get into a survival mentality this day. Keep this in mind. If you get into this state, I really recommend to move your body, do something different, pattern interrupt in terms of changing up the energy. So for example, going on a walk or having a dance party or doing something that you normally wouldn't do just to change the fixation on whatever you're fixating on. Reminding yourself you're safe too, and putting that love and attention towards yourself is going to be super helpful this day. Now, what's also happening this day is Jupiter enters the sign of Cancer on this day, and this is the transit that all astrologers have been waiting for all year. I personally have been waiting for this transit since 2019 for Libra risings. Jupiter in Cancer is beautiful. This is a very lucky and expansive energy. Jupiter is the planet of luck, expansion, opportunity, growth, and wisdom. In the sign of Cancer, it is exalted, meaning that it loves being in the sign. This feels very nourishing for us. Jupiter wants us to expand and grow. And with it being in Cancer, we're looking to grow our emotional safety. What that looks like for us. What does your idea of home feel like to you? How can you shift your perspective and really see the abundance around you that you already have? With Jupiter in Cancer, you're going to be feeling as though things are a bit more easier in terms of the flow of what you want to attract in. I really recommend to feel the feeling of your desires before attracting it in, because that's going to speed up the process for you. And Jupiter in Cancer wants us to really uplift the people in our life that are healing, that are lending emotional support. I really see this transit as highlighting healers this coming year. Jupiter will be in this lucky spot all year, so from June 9th to June 29th, 2026. And honestly, this is exciting. I really, really urge you to take advantage of this energy. I also shared your Jupiter in Cancer horoscopes. I'm so proud of these. Go watch yours. This is usually for my VIP membership. I've decided to make these completely free, and I will still be having exclusive horoscopes on my VIP membership. But if you just want a sneak peek of what's on that, go watch these on YouTube, because this is going to really help you see which area of life for you is going to be the luckiest and how to make use of this energy. Now, I do want to mention with Jupiter in Cancer, I do really predict that we're going to see this rise of how important it is to emotionally regulate. We're already kind of seeing this on the social media space, but I think this is going to really just blow up in the next year of how important it is to take care of your body, your nervous system, what that looks like. So I want to give you a heads up on that, right? If you have wanted to expand your family, for example, get pregnant or move, or just enrich your home life in terms of bettering your relationship to family members, this transit is going to be so lovely for you. Now, moving on to June 10th, we have Mars in Leo trine Chiron in Aries. This is very healing for us. This feels as though you're being seen in some form for the work you're doing, for how you're showing up for yourself, for your creativity, for your self-expression. This feels so nourishing. Perhaps you're doing a workout this day and you're just feeling like your body is feeling the best it's ever been, or perhaps you're doing a creative project, you're getting all these creative ideas, and you're able to take action on them right away. This feels as though if you've had wounds around being seen or around your sense of worthiness, either someone is going to really reassure you of how worthy you are, of how loved you are, or you yourself are going to give yourself this validation and assurance. This feels very empowering, very enriching. So make use of this transit. I would do any creative projects this day, because that's going to feel like you're in flow in the best possible way. Now, on June 11th, we have a powerful full moon in Sagittarius. Again, go watch the podcast episode for the full moon in Sagittarius to deep dive into that chart for you, because it's honestly a juicy full moon. There's a lot of change in store for you. And I do want to mention that if you want to manifest for new moons and full moons, I am hosting new moon and full moon events in the Moon Sign Creative Community. This community is for you if you want to tap into your magic, your power, your growth, and really connect to people who are very spiritually aligned to you. These manifestation rituals are honestly so heartwarming, so healing. The members of the community are so sweet, so kind, so empathetic. They're all so supportive. There is a wait list available for the community, so go check that out if you want to join us for upcoming new moon and full moon events. This current full moon in Sagittarius event is closed yet doors will open again for the community on the new moon in Cancer. So stay tuned for that. Go sign up for the waitlist if you want to be notified for when that happens and how you can manifest with us. Now, on the same day, we have Mercury in Cancer sextile to Venus in Taurus. This is beautiful. This looks very nourishing in terms of the conversations we're having with people, how we're aligning our communication to our values. Perhaps you're having more conversations around what you want for your home life, how you are taking care of your money, how you are really working on your money mindset, how you are cultivating your values in terms of self-love, in terms of how you're showing up in relationships. These could be a few themes that come up right now. Yet Mercury sextile to Venus is just this beautiful little kiss from the universe of, okay, let's have some joyous conversations around what we love. So this is a great day to have a phone call with a friend, to share some laughs, to just talk about everything that's going right in your life right now. Now, the most uncomfortable day of the month happens on June 15th. This is because Jupiter in Cancer is square to Saturn in Aries this day. We also have Mars in Leo square to Uranus in Taurus this day. So let's talk about it. This looks like you're trying to grow and expand. And what's happening is there's someone here or something that is blocking you from the growth that you want to happen, to take place for you. Someone could be just setting some boundaries, or perhaps you're realizing there's some restriction that is taking place that you then need to change when it comes to your systems and structures and personal boundaries. With Jupiter square to Saturn, this looks like slowing down the process. This is uncomfortable. And I will say, there is still something here that can be really, really beneficial for you. It just feels as though you're making all this work and effort and you're not seeing the results you truly want just yet. This is also why I stated in my mini horoscopes for this month that even though Jupiter moves into Cancer this week, we're not going to fully feel this luck and expansion and opportunity until a bit later this year. This square to Saturn wants us to be cautious. It wants us to really think about, okay, in what ways do you need to slow down? In what ways do you need to change something in your life? Squares really help us understand that there's something you need to do to really shift things in your life. Now, what's also happening the same day with Mars and Leo square to Uranus and Taurus is there could be a shocking surprise that takes place around your money, your home, or your values. This feels uncomfortable. Perhaps there's an unexpected expense, or there's something here where you're not able to move forward in terms of how you're showing up in relationships or at work in the way that you want. You're wanting to show up in a very creative, passionate way, yet with this square to Uranus and Taurus, this is expect the unexpected and you might need to change course. However, the good thing about this energy is you could get a breakthrough around what you need to change when you need to move forward with this energy. So perhaps you get a breakthrough around how you're showing up in your romantic relationships. How are you showing up in terms of the creative work you're doing? This square to Uranus can be seen as a blessing, yet it will feel uncomfortable. Ultimately, I want to remind you that even uncomfortable transits, even hard transits, are super, super beneficial for you because it's pushing you to make a change in your life. And that in itself is a blessing, because if we didn't have hard transits, it's going to be hard to change your life. It's going to feel like you're stuck and stagnant all the way. So remind yourself of this. Sometimes we need that push. So those are the major transits for this week. I am super, super excited to hear what's been happening for you. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe because it really does help me out. And comment down below what you think of the transits of this week. Now, I want to dive into the story for this week, which I am super, super excited about. I want to share what happened to me personally the last time Jupiter was in Cancer, because when I looked back on these dates, it completely blew my mind for what happened for me. And I'm sharing this so that you can use the energy of Jupiter in Cancer to your advantage, so that you can better prepare with this energy. So check back to see what was happening for you June 25th, 2013 to July 16th, 2014. Major themes from that time period are going to happen for you now. Now for me, this was interesting. This for me was honestly the most pivotal change in my career as a graphic designer before I launched my astrology practice. And I want to go through what happened for me because you're going to be mind blown. You're going to be mind blown. Okay, so I checked back to see what was happening for me during this time. And the first thing that happened for me was I got an internship at this really amazing design studio. It's an award-winning design studio in Toronto. So I got this internship that was set up for the summer. I was supposed to graduate this year in my undergrad for graphic design, yet I decided to stay an extra year to really focus on my thesis project. Now, what's interesting is during this time, I still get chills about this. I had 3 internships during the time Jupiter was in Cancer. I also then got my first full-time job. And Jupiter in Cancer for me affects my career and public image. It was transiting my 10th house. Now, the first internship, I will say, was a really, really helpful internship for me learning, okay, what worked for me, what made the most sense for me in terms of the work I'm putting out into the world, how I could help that design studio. I was not paid for this internship. I do want to point that out. I was not paid during this time. Yet it was a really, really helpful internship for me learning more about the business behind running a design studio, what that looked like for me, and how I could do this for myself in the future. So that internship was great. I think that lasted about a month to 2 months. I then had another internship lined up right after this internship. And this was a really helpful internship that kickstarted my entire career. This internship led me to multiple jobs afterwards. It really set a solid foundation for me in terms of my design practice. And what I loved about this internship is it helped me make a lot of big realizations of what I truly wanted for myself. Now, Jupiter is not always sunshine and rainbows, okay? I want to really state that. Jupiter in Cancer at this time was helping me see, what did I actually want for my legacy? What did I actually want to be doing in the future? Even though I was getting these amazing, amazing design positions at this time, yes, as an intern, the hard thing is I was battling this newfound perspective on what I wanted for my life, on what I actually wanted to be doing in the future. So I had just studied for 4 years intensely graphic design, and I realized I do not want to work a 9-to-5 job. Okay, it's written in my birth chart. I dive a lot deeper into this in personal sessions with people if you also feel this way, or in my Astrology Foundations course, Seeing Secrets, in terms of what this looks like when you do not feel like you're made for a 9-to-5 job. For me, this was a breaking point for me where I flipped a switch and I realized, oh my goodness, I can't believe that I have to do this for the rest of my life. that was a big, hard realization because I had just put all this money, spent tens of thousands of dollars on my undergrad, and I realized, okay, never mind, this is not exactly what I want to be doing, but I just have to do this now because I just paid all this money for this education and I need to figure out a plan. So I had these 2 internships in June 2013. I then went back to do my final year of my undergrad in graphic design and focused on my thesis project. And what's also really interesting is my thesis project was on death and mourning in terms of the loss of my father. And when I look back now, it made so much sense that I had to wait till Jupiter was in Cancer for me to do this thesis project, and not when I was in my 4th year of my undergrad. So I stayed for 5th year for this, and I delayed this project because for me, Jupiter in Cancer was expanding my home and family. And my dad was a Cancer sun. He passed away when I was 11. And my entire project, I can link it down below. It was an interactive installation around memory and processes of mourning the loss of a loved one. Yet I created this installation around a home setup where I projected images of my home life around family videos. So it's as if you're walking into someone's home and you're seeing the memories of what once was. And honestly, I'm on the verge of tears because it really was the work I wanted to be doing in my design thesis. And I'm so proud that I was able to do that at that time because it helped me process a lot of grief and a lot when it came to the loss of my father. Again, it took me years to mourn his death, yet this installation was so important to me that I now realize Jupiter in Cancer was such a pivotal part of this, because I wouldn't have been able to really see everything come together without that time and dedication to creating this. So it's still mind-blowing to me that this installation was about my home and family and my past. And even though Jupiter moving into Cancer was affecting my career and public image, yet it makes so much sense. It's just mind-blowing, the connections that I'm just still in awe by looking back at those transits. Now there's more that happened during this transit for me. And I had another internship after I graduated my undergrad at a different design studio. This was less fun for me. This was a very toxic workplace. I'm not going to dive deep into that story because I have shared it so many times. Go check out a previous episode because that in itself was honestly terrible. Yet that internship was really, really helpful for me in terms of me realizing my self-worth and self-value. I was getting paid $5 an hour at that internship, and I honestly did not need another internship. I took it because I realized, okay, this is a design studio I really respected at this time, and I loved their work, and I just wanted those portfolio pieces in my portfolio. I don't know if I would still make the same decision now. However, it did teach me to stand up for myself. I then quit that job. After that internship, I did fully complete that internship and they offered me a position. I really kindly declined. I did end up doing some freelance work for them afterwards. Yet there was a few months where I didn't have any work after this. This was honestly really, really difficult for me, even though I had so many opportunities that came up prior to this. Now, at the end of Jupiter in Cancer, during this time, I got a full-time job at another toxic design studio. And again, I will not go into that. However, I did quit that design studio within a month, and it did really help me understand what I needed to look for in terms of red flags for moving into any other design positions. Because I had 2 toxic workplaces back to back, this is why I'm telling you that yes, Jupiter is lucky. Jupiter brings in opportunities. Yet if you do not know how to filter through which opportunities are best for you, it could cause more harm than good. Okay, let me repeat that. If you do not know how to filter out the opportunities that are not aligned for you, it can cause more harm than good. After that design studio, I was so scarred from working a full-time job that I just went full-on freelance. And this was not a decision that I wanted to make. Actually, I will mention, I just realized that I actually got 5 positions at this time with Jupiter in Cancer. So the day I quit my design studio position that was very toxic, I went back to my university that I did my undergrad in, and I was offered a TA position on the spot. So this was mind-blowing to me. The universe very much supports you if you know how to align to what's meant for you. If you know that something is not right for you, it's up to you to make that change. So that is how I jumped timelines. I quit something that was very toxic for me, that was horrible to my mental health. I wasn't sleeping properly. I was having anxiety attacks all the time. And I was rewarded by this TA position that began the following year. So when Jupiter moved into Leo. However, I still received it that day. So I actually got 5 positions. I just realized this. 5 positions when Jupiter was in Cancer. And that is why, as a Libra rising, I'm looking forward to Jupiter in Cancer this time around. Now, if I knew the energy beforehand, I think I would have done things very, very differently. I would have said no to things that didn't align to my values. I would have really trusted my gut and intuition. Jupiter in Cancer will magnify your intuition. So you trusting your gut, your intuition is going to be the most important thing during this time. And the thing is, looking at my birth chart and the aspects that Jupiter is making to my birth chart, I know that this year is going to be a year of mass growth for me, and I want to help more clients with this as well. If you want to use the astrology of Jupiter in Cancer and the astrology of the rest of the year to change your life, to change your business, to really grow your business in a new, profound way to help more people, I do have 2 more spots for my Boldest You mentorship. This is for you if you know you need one-on-one support with someone to help you reach that next level in your business. Maybe you're already getting a lot of sales, but you're feeling overwhelmed. You're feeling like it's hard for you to do the things you actually love. Maybe you're feeling as though you're not getting the freedom that you truly value, and you want someone's help to save more time in your life to really cultivate a brand that is magnetic, that is life-changing, so that you can help more people and grow your business in a sustainable way. This is exactly what I help my clients with in the Boldest You mentorship program. So there's only 2 spots left for the rest of the year. You can apply down below if this resonates with you, if you know you're an ambitious action taker who needs support, who wants that help to get to that next level. All right, friend, let's get into your tarot reading for this week. So the first card out is the Knight of Wands. I love this energy for you because this is an energy of passion, of drive, of putting your creative work out there. I do see this energy as being kind of fun and flirty. I really love this for the full moon in Sagittarius this week. Again, go listen to that episode if you haven't already. But this is such a fun energy where you are feeling like you can take more action in terms of what you want. Express yourself. I will also say you could also be planning a trip during this time. What I love about Jupiter is it can also give us some really good ideas or inspiration to book a trip, to travel somewhere, to do something different. So I love this energy for you. I think it's going to be a really fun start to the week. The next card out is the Five of Wands, so there will be some tension this week. I want to put that out there, and this can feel uncomfortable, again with those squares. However, fives signify change. So this is an energy where, yes, you could feel like there's some tense energy with you and another person or a group of people, yet this energy wants you to stand up for yourself, to also realize it's okay to make those changes. It's okay to share your voice. Yes, try not to react too harshly with this energy. I will say that. Try not to respond right away. Make sure you know that you can take a step back before responding to someone. Anger is still a very important emotion that we need to feel. Any anger that comes up for you is showing you how you need to either set better boundaries, how you need to maybe cut someone out of your life, or how you are not standing up for yourself. Anger is very helpful for us to process and move through. Do not repress it, but see what comes up for you and allow yourself to feel it. Don't put it on other people. Release it in healthy ways, like screaming into a pillow, jogging, journaling, doing something active. That's going to help move this energy in your body. The next card out is the World card. So you're wrapping up a cycle this week. This makes sense with full moon in Sagittarius because you're wrapping up a cycle that started for you 6 months ago. The World card wants you to reflect back on current patterns in your life. What patterns are you keeping and which ones do you need to let go of? You're going to start to see, okay, this is why this thing had to happen now. Okay, this is why this is connected to this. You're going to start to see how everything is connected. And this is going to be super beneficial for you. Now, our block this week is the Six of Swords reverse. So this feels like you have already moved through some difficult waters. You're trying to move past a difficult situation, yet there's still something lingering on where you have to let go of overthinking a situation and you have to let go of what was in the past. It feels like you're still dwelling on something that happened to you or a conversation you had, and now is the time to move forward. So I asked us what would help us move through this and get to that next level. We got the Six of Pentacles. So this is a card to help you ground, to help you see that, okay, if you're overthinking this past situation, how are you showing up? Is a certain person giving the same amount of effort as you? How can you balance the scales of the situation? How can you show up in a way that feels natural, that feels good, that feels like you're not overgiving in a situation? Because sometimes we can feel like something's not balanced if someone is overgiving to a current situation. So this card is asking you, is someone breadcrumbing you? For example, maybe someone's just keeping you around for your energy because they really love your energy. Perhaps someone is talking to you, but they're not showing up in the way that you wish they were. This is a card to either have a conversation on it and really share what's on your mind, or show up differently energetically, right? Maybe that's protecting your energy Maybe that's declining that invitation from someone that you know is going to drain your energy. Maybe that is actually seeing the people who go above and beyond for you and celebrating them and showing up in a way that's so loving, that's so nourishing and understanding, and treating them in some form. So this is a good card to keep in mind, right? How can you balance out the scales? Your oracle cards for this week are Look to Nature for Healing. I love this card for you. If you're able to get out into nature this week, go to a park, go walk to the beach, do something that is super, super healing for you, and just replenish your mind, right? Sometimes we can get overwhelmed with being on our phones or on technology all day, but this card wants to remind you to connect to the earth, and that in itself is going to feel so nourishing for you. You also got It Is Within Reach. I love this. This is such a beautiful sign that whatever you're wanting, whatever you're desiring, it's close, right? Remind yourself you could feel that emotion now, though. Remind yourself you're safe, you're loved, you can feel that love now, right? Give yourself that space to do so. The last card out is Slow Change. So yes, with Jupiter moving into Cancer, this is great. This is very abundant. This is a lot of blessings coming to you. Yet it might not happen right away, especially because of that transit and square to Saturn this week. So just know that things might not happen all at once, yet see and celebrate the wins along the way. See the small progress that's being made. So I really hope this helped, friend. I really hope it helped. If you want my help in growing your spiritual wellness or creative business this year, check out my Boldest You mentorship program. I'll leave a link on how to apply down below. And if you want to join the new moon and full moon events with the Moon Sign Creative Community, go put your name on the wait list and make sure to sign up when the doors are open, because there's only going to be a few days when the doors are open to new members. Thank you again for watching. Please let me know in the comments what happened to you the last time Jupiter was in Cancer for you. I'm just super, super curious. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, friend. And just remember, the universe has your back. And with peace and love, take care.